What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? It is your boy DT. It got Kayla in the building, and today this is Command Time with Kayla and DT. This is our first official reaction to NFL trade deadlines and a little bit of recap from the game on Sunday. Kayla, what's going on, girl?
A lot has happened in Commander's Land in the last 48
Woo.
hours. Things have changed. They have
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
fast. They have changed. They have changed fast. Hopefully for the better of for both parties, but things are changing.
yeah,
Definitely. This new era has started and they won't be stopping anytime soon.
yeah. The Hogs group is not a joke whatsoever. That man went from straight basketball, traded James Harden to Commanders, and traded two of our key players that we thought were going to be huge contributors this season. But let's go ahead and get started and talk about that because that's the hottest topic right now. So, yesterday, for those that obviously know that don't know, Washington Commanders have traded Montez Sweat for a second round pick to the Chicago Bears, and they have also traded Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers for a compensatory third round pick. So these are two players that were supposed to be in future plans, that were supposed to be key clogs for this team. The identity of the team was supposed to be four defensive linemen, but unfortunately, Kayla, um, things had other plans. Some of them didn't live up to expectations. Injuries happen. Personal things happen. But all in all, um, things were just not working over here on this defensive front. So changes had to be made. Um, Also, just to get that out there, two of these guys, both of them were on expiring contracts, so they did not have a deal in place with the team. Um, Chase Young's fifth-year option was on decline early in the offseason, so this is going to be different for this team looking on Sunday. A lot of changes so far in the first 24 48 hours. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so definitely when I was surprised when it was both of them. I thought one would probably be gone. I thought Sweat was gone, but I thought they was going to maybe just let Chase go into free agency. But in the past, prior regimes would probably let him walk, let him play out the season, not even look to see if we could get anything back, which is a plus that we did get something back. And if you just flip it, like we just get a second round pick or a third round pick, we're building for the future as well as building depth. Like that, it shows the importance in the NFL of depth, like being built. Like we've had these defensive ends prior when they weren't even playing, and these same guys that are coming in. Casey Hill underrated, high motor guy, just ready to work. James Smith Williams, he's always made splashy plays, and I just want to see more. Let them grow. I don't want to see like the media take advantage of these guys. Just go out there and ball. Y'all all are on contracts as well, and with them building depth, them going into the draft as well, getting two defensive ends that actually splashed in preseason early. Especially Andre Jones, who provided a lot and a lot this season has been um on the active roster instead of Henry, but two defensive ends after that. That's just showing you that something was going to happen at some
Yeah.
point if expectations weren't met because of the depth that they had built. And not even to mention, we do also have Obata, who's made splashy plays. So it's not going to be just relying on one guy, two guys. They can rotate out with five guys.
Yeah, most definitely. There is some depth on this defensive line that is about to go through its test for the next 9 games we see. Um, it's there's a lot of things out there on Twitter now. I want to ask you this: how you feel? Because we know Chase. There's some type of rift between Chase Young and this organization in some shape or form. But now I feel some type of way because I understand there are some things that they definitely wanted Chase to do, and he didn't live up to that. But in my opinion, I already knew there were some things that was showing on the field that Chase wasn't doing. But now it's almost like it's a smear campaign from a lot of our fans. And me personally, I'm just like, look, at the end of the day, um, it's stuff that we can't control, and he's human too. So I think it's just the huge expectations, coming out of Ohio State. He was the number 2 pick. Ohio State has produced defensive ends, the Bosa brothers, and he's right after them. And, his rookie year was fantastic. Second year, kind of got in his own head a little bit. Didn't play within the defense, but he wasn't. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, he wasn't the only one that everybody's saying he's freelancing. The whole D line freelances. We had this conversation in Spaces.
Communication hasn't been there. Like, it did
Agreed.
for one season, but after that, like, the communication hasn't been perfect across all 4 guys. Maybe 2 at times, maybe 3 at times, but all 4 guys, communication really hasn't been there throughout all the tenure. Even if they've had a top 10 defense, still something was always off. Really couldn't pick because they were still producing, they were still top 10, but you can still see something changing. But when you lose guys, when the personalities start to show, and when they're not putting all the effort in, then they start trickling down, seeing what is the problem. Is it one guy? Is it 2 guys? What needs to change?
Yeah, and one CeeLo has said this today. Naturally these guys are defensive linemen. They're gonna chase theirs, and I feel like for this defensive line, that has been the biggest problem, and the reason why we haven't really had that success, or they didn't live up to the standard that we have for them, is because they, little alpha dog mentality, then and there. But this defense, overall, this defense has not been dominant. That's the point I'm getting across. When you look at the 49ers, you look at Dallas, at least certain points, they show dominance regardless of who
All
they play.
3 levels, linebackers,
I have
line,
not seen
and
that in Washington.
secondary.
I have not seen that in Washington.
So that goes to, like I've stated, change is coming. I do think this will be Del Rio. Like I've been saying all season, even prior to the season, I do think this defense has outgrown the scheme. Like, plain and simple, they need new energy out there.
So what do you think about the trade compensation for Chase Young? Do you felt like it was a low ball, or it was kind of the right place? Because me personally, that was a conversation we had in the offseason. A lot of people were thinking about, well, some of these guys are going to get traded, and as of right now, Chase Young is more likely a late day 2 or day 3
So,
pick.
and a lot of people
And
were saying, what was a lot of people saying prior to this season? Chase doesn't get a lot of sacks. They think, like, if you saying that, GM see that as well. He was hurt, not getting as many sacks, even though he was providing pressure. He was helping with the double team. He was still also injured. He also wasn't getting to the quarterback as much as he has this season. He has improved at that. He still techniques still need to be refined. He's still going to be a solid player. Like, Chase is still a dog, but
yeah,
you can't play for yourself. You're on a defensive line. I know you want your bag, but everybody else got to eat as well. Once y'all all eat, that's when greatness is formed.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
focusing on yourself, that's when
like,
people start to crumble.
yeah, most definitely. Like, and we see it like for this team alone, the defensive line from the interior, they have been the strength of this team. We've seen John Allen produce. We've seen Deron Payne last year extremely produce. He had 10 plus sacks. But for these defensive ends, that's something we've been trying to get out of them for a while. And whenever it's, containing multiple quarterbacks, making sure that your rush lanes are disciplined, that has been a
Small,
problem.
small flags that they be doing that messes up drives. It's the small things as well.
Yeah.
But
My
you
guy.
can also blame scheming as well. A part of that, but
Oh
you got to
yeah,
put in the
I think it's
effort.
scheme too.
You have to put in the effort as a player on the field. No matter what, you still have to put in the effort. Even if it's not the right scheme for you, you still should put in the effort and not play for yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely scheme as well. Uh Del Rio, he's very vanilla to a certain extent. He'll blitz in and there, but he's heavily reliant on the front 4 to get to the quarterback. But when there are times where they don't get to the quarterback, that's when we have
The
problems
middle
in
of
our
the field
secondary.
is always open.
Yeah.
Always open. Um, I got a question. With these new guys coming on, who are you expecting the biggest splash from? And some of these guys are still also fighting for a contract. I'm talking about the defensive ends
Yeah, yeah.
moving forward.
I'm gonna be honest. Everybody's been talking about Two Hill, but I'm gonna lean with James Smith Williams and Andre Jones. I think this is a huge opportunity for the rookie DNs to get some looks because Harris Group probably already had in their mind like, look, you guys have already drafted two defensive ends this year, just in case something like this happens. So let's give these young guys an opportunity to get their feet wet. Now I know Henry, he's kind of been has some things to work on, but Andre Jones was the biggest surprise out of rookie camp outside
He's been
of
sneaking his way onto the active roster, not much playing time, but I see him on the depth chart on game day.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see what Jones look like. I think he can provide the same rush and things like that, like a Two Hill. But I think James Smith Williams is also a good person to look at as well because he can play multiple spots on the defensive line. So
And
that's something.
Obata will get to the quarterback at times too.
Yeah, definitely Obata. I just want to say somebody other than Two Hill because now it's like a bunch of Two Hill praise, and he rightfully so. Rightfully so. He should deserve some praise, but I'm like, he's
Been
not
on
the
his team
only.
grinding for a few years, small snaps. When he does get in the game, he does play with high energy. I can't say that he will try to sack the quarterback. And this year has done a pretty decent job. You can see the growth. And it was a few years back where he I think, and also James Smith Williams had to step in when Montez and Chase were both hurt, and they actually held up pretty well. And that was a few years back.
So we got a question from my guy. Shout out to Cody. He's always a great follower in the Washington community. So Cody asked the question: was Del Rio just allowing it though? I feel as though he enabled Chase and Tez to do whatever they wanted. Maybe there wasn't real coaching there. I mean, yeah. I think
JR's just laid back.
I think it's to a certain extent because for the quarterbacks that we play, like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, you have to be able to keep these guys in the pocket, not be able, because once they run out of the pocket, it's trouble. We have struggled past couple of years.
Not with past couple of years, this whole tenure. Each year we cannot contain mobile quarterbacks. No adjustments have been made.
Past couple of years is 4 years. So okay, like
couple of 2, 4 is more, but within the same point. But yes, no adjustments have been made over these years to containing mobile quarterbacks. No matter which mobile quarterback it is, they will run on us. Plain and simple.
And even Sunday, like Jalen Hurts, like we know Jalen Hurts, he's kind of dinged up, but he has all day to throw. Not a single touch on his jersey unless he went to the outside for the training staff. But that's man, I don't know. Like Kayla, so let's do a percentage, right? Because I just don't want to say this is all on the defensive line because it's linebackers and corners and safeties too. So
I'm gonna say this: the biggest loss in the off season. I said it earlier. This before in the earlier in the off season as well.
I know you about to
losing Chris Harris was tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Chris Harris was
especially knowing, like later in articles, saying that they did think he would end up being defensive coach coordinator here, but like. You could see the impact, the energy at practice, the secondary, the small things. They weren't terrible last year. They were just not getting interceptions. This year they've gotten a few interceptions, but it's the technical stuff that's not right. The energy is not there. They're not playing together as they were last year.
We got interceptions?
We have had a few. We've had a few. You gotta be honest. We've had a few. We've had a few.
A few as in like two? We got 2?
More than 2, because Forbes got 1.
Oh, 5. No, we got 5.
We've got some interceptions this year.
we stat patty that game. I ain't gonna lie. We kind of stat pad that game. Desmond Ritter was trash. Shout out to my boy Zay. Went to school with him. He says, I believe so. So I'm guessing that's the question to Jack Del was just allowing it. I get. I still think he allowed it to a certain extent as long as they play within the system. But the problem is the D line has not been playing within the system.
And then over the off season last year, they brought in people into training camp to help them. Why didn't that continue this year? You see the difference it made in Warren Sapp, Ryan Kerrigan being more active out. I know Ryan Kerrigan is still a coach, but he wasn't as active as like last training camp. Like, it's the small things that change.
Kerrigan the guy that on the coaching staff?
Say
Can
that
we
one more
talk about
time.
it? Kerrigan's on that coaching staff, former teammate.
Yeah, but it's like last year, like when with him and Warren Sapp, like they were actually getting out there with them. Like they was being more hands on with the defensive line. They was communicating more, but that was when Chase was out as well. But how do you feel about the situations that that Chase and Montez were sent to? San Francisco and the Bears.
I'll say this. I think Chase is in a way better situation because he doesn't have to be the guy. And I think for Chicago, Sweat's going to have to be the guy because that whole front seven matched his sack total for the season. But
one of their main guys just got hurt as well on that defensive line.
Yeah, but there is a world where even though they got traded there, this is still, to me, in my opinion, a rental year for both of those guys for those teams. They're going to be fighting for a contract over there as well. So I honestly don't see Sweat trying to sign with Chicago. I think he's going to try to bounce and try to get to Atlanta because he wanted to be a Falcon, but the deal was too sweet for Washington to pass up.
Yeah, so for me, I feel bad. I really feel bad for Montez. He's always stayed humble, even though I do think he could have gotten to the quarterback a lot more, and don't think he was worth that big, humongous contract. Yeah, like it was time for him to go, but like just how he went, it's like so sad. Like I wanted him, but I do think next season he's going to end up in Atlanta, like you stated. It was San Francisco. They just paid Bosa all that money. They got a lot. They just got card rapes. So they still got things to figure out financially over there with Young. So they're pretty much in the same position. But I do think this year Chase will touch the playoffs for sure.
So I got a question for you, Kayla.
And it may help him in free agency.
So Chase Young, he's with the 49ers. You got Bosa, you got Armstead, you got Hargraves, you got
Drake Jackson,
Warner, Hufanga. Like, does getting Chase Young put the 49ers in that mode like, hey, this will push us over the edge, or you still need to see more?
Or sometimes you got to think, is too much talent like worth it all the time? Like, personalities may not clash. It may be the same Washington situation. Flashy, dominant defensive line. They're definitely way better coached, way better scheme. But you never know. You just never know. But I still think he's going to produce. I do not think it's going to be like a long deal for him there, unless like they tag him, like give him a bag. He like balls out all the way, even in the playoff. Like,
that's gonna be a hefty tag. They're gonna tag Chase Young.
Unless like I say they tag him if they in the Super Bowl, but like that's the off season. Way more to go.
Yeah, I see that. I'm just thinking like, because he's over there now. I feel like you said, that scheme is way better. They're a little bit more aggressive and they attack the line of scrimmage better. If he gets 5 more sacks, that's really all he needs. Because you got both.
He's already like 6.5 sacks already this year.
Yeah, like he's about to hit his career high. So my thing is, can he? I feel like he's gonna play way harder over there than he played with us because I feel like he was being a little bit passive the first couple
You
of
can definitely,
games.
you can definitely tell. I think he's motivated. Chase is a dog. Like he came from the DMV. That's why everybody loved him so much. And he's a big impact on kids. Like the kids love Chase. Like the other day I was working, a kid, somebody said, you know who our some favorite child player is? I said, who? He said, Chase Young. Like the kids love Chase. And I know we're gonna take that out to the bay, but like he's a dog. Like DMV people, they don't quit. I know he's gonna end up being something. Like he just gotta get his mind right. And I think the change of scenery, being away from the area, will get his mind right. Getting better coaching is gonna help him in the long run. Like shout outs to him and Sweat. But Sweat gotta get out of Chicago. Like
Yeah,
ASAP.
I don't see him staying in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like there are going to be plenty of teams that was already trying to get him trade wise, but they're going to try to get his services. So, final thoughts on the trade, emotionally and logically. I I was for trading the defensive line because they didn't live up to expectations, and I felt like it was time to break it up and just it's really time to break some of this team up. But I just thinking that with trading Montez Sweat, you got a great value pick for a second round pick. Now I understand, everybody's like, "Oh, we don't do good with second round." Well, we're gonna have a new regime, um, and don't think negative about every second round pick that we got. That's basically essentially a first round pick. And with the Chase Young trade, so I saw the Montez Sweat trade when I was at work, but the Chase Young trade, like I was outside, I was doing the parking lot, getting these kids were getting ready to go home. Next thing you know, I checked my phone and Chase Young, he's a 49er. I understand the outrage
I
from the
wanted him
fan
to be
base
a
because
Raven. I wanted him to be a
you want to be
Raven.
a Raven. Hell
Get
no,
out the
bro.
NFCs. He
Nah,
could have stayed at Baltimore, you know.
nah.
He could have been with the
Yeah.
twos and the doos.
He ain't been nobody. He a cat. Man, be quiet, dude. Look, but with the Chase Young trade, like I understand why people are mad because of compensation, but like we said, I think that's where season wise, off season wise, I felt like that's where he was going to be. And right now, that relationship was done. It was over. I think
Fractured.
the staff they were ready to move on. They said
And then the
addition
dad getting on the radio yesterday was like just a nail in the coffin.
RG3 light, right? Remember RG3 dad
Yep.
advocated for his son and all that. That's why I tried. That's why I said that little comment and won't try to like trip nobody up. I said that's why I felt like the culture still haven't changed because you see stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong as a parent to advocate for your child and stuff. But once you go on a local radio station and you're talking about what your son is doing, this and that, that's cool and all, but that gave me RG3 vibes when I saw that. And I already knew. I said to my head, I said, yeah, Chase gone.
Yep.
Chase was gone. When I saw them tweets and I heard all the comments and stuff, I said Chase Young was gone, man. So if I had to grade these trades, I would give overall, I'll give it a B. I like the moves. Like we won't gonna get no first round pick, to me, in my opinion, unless you added like another player, but solid draft compensation, 5 picks in the top 50.
And we got
Whoever
money to work with next offseason.
$90 million,
New head
whoever
coach, new
whoever the
general
head coach,
manager.
general manager, they're coming into a great situation with some young guys and just use them to their best ability. That's all
And
I ask.
and with that being said, I don't know. I've said it last week. I hope I don't know. Like I don't know because I feel like Sunday this defense is going to ball out. Like if even though it's still the Patriots, they have had a solid season. And if they do bowl out and we win, the way this NFC is still like none of these NFC teams are great. Like it's going to still be a fight for the end. Do you think we should win or like tank
You want
with
my
how
truthful
bad the
answer?
NFC is? Like you already got a quarterback. Jordan Love's like they say he's not the quarterback of the future. Heineke's about to start for Atlanta. The Saints aren't really good with Derek Carr. Like all these teams aren't good in the NFC except for four or maybe five, if that.
In my honest opinion, Kayla, looking at the rest of the schedule now, is the NFC definitely weak? Most definitely. But as of right now, I only see possibly 3 wins. We could win this Sunday. The flip game is Seattle. Like you could win Seattle, but then you could also lose depending how that game go. I feel like we're going to beat the Giants because second go around, team going to get adjusted. Daniel Jones probably going to be playing. Dallas game, that's going to be iffy and a flip. Then you come back, then you play. I think we got a bye after that. A bye week. Then you got Rams. No, I think we got Dolphins, Rams, 49ers,
The
then Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yep.
Possibly 3, maybe 4 wins. But I
Do
see
you think
I
8 wins
see
can
right
get
now
you a
the
wild
ceiling at
card?
6. If we get a wild card, it has to be 9 wins. 9 wins can get you a wild card. So that means you have to win majority of your games in the NFC.
So I think we can pull off Patriots, Giants, one Cowboy. I think we can catch Seattle off guard because they've been playing hot. When a team play hot, you just need that one. So I think we may beat Seattle. So I just think I think it's going to be we can beat the Patriots still. I think Giants is our kryptonite. So I want to say them. They won't have Waller. They're gonna have Andrew Thomas back. So I'm not gonna say the Giants yet. So I think we can beat the Patriots, Seattle, Dallas once. That's it.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. I
And the
already said
Rams.
we lose to the Giants. We need to tank.
And the
I already
Rams.
said we lost to the Giants first time. So
Yeah.
man,
If
I don't know.
if if that happens, Ron is definitely gonna be gone in season. Even though I love him, I like not love like not as a like head
No.
coach, not as a head coach, but like as like a like human. People always take the humanity out of this game so much. Like I hate it. Like people don't think people's families go back and see this stuff. People these players, coaches, they got kids, they got cousins, uncles, aunts. They be on social media. How do you think it makes them feel hearing y'all bash them like all day? It's the difference between being like having an opinion and bashing like constantly. Do you agree?
I don't take humanity out of it. It's at the end of the day, it's the business.
Even if it's a business, you still got like if to lose people while you're coaching, to go through cancer, all this stuff is hard. Deal with toxicity, and now like you finally found a quarterback for a team. That's the last thing you could have done. Like it's the small things. Like he's not great at coaching at all, but like as a man, like I can't sit there and diss him, tell him horrible. Like just keep posting pictures of him with his arm crossed. At that point, you're bullying. Like it gets to a point where like adults should not be bullying like on the internet. Do you agree?
It's social media.
It's
Like
even if it's
I don't
so
like for
even if
me.
it's social.
I don't take a lot of that stuff to an extent personal because like everybody is going to go off the rails for certain things because you got to realize these are fanatics. These are people that love the team more than anything. So people are gonna go overboard stuff. Like while I do agree with you, like, hey, okay, he's human and stuff like that, but I'm not thinking about his humanity because at the end of the day, like he has a job to do as a coach and he gets out coached.
Like I said, he
Like,
definitely has to go. Like I said, he definitely has to go. Like the era has ended. Like everything has to come to an end at some point. Um, but he has. I'm not mad at what he's done with this team overall. Like I'm not happy with it. Would have liked way more wins, but I'm not mad at it. I'm happy with how he's where he's leaving this team after this season. We got us a quarterback. We got a few offensive linemen that we can build around. Like Chris Paul looks solid. We still got Cosme, who still is a solid guard. We still got we picked up a center, Stromberg. So it's still the small things that is going to be left behind.
well, we gotta see them play though. Like,
That's
you feel me? Like that they did had a good game, but that was mainly because Sam was getting the ball out of his hand. Let's see when they're going up against
consistency.
Bill Belichick and how he
Consistency.
runs the defense. Yes, it's all about consistency. Like I'm definitely all in on Sam, regardless of what people say. And if you want to tell me that, hey, you want to go like if new ownership comes in and say, "Hey, we want to get a quarterback," cool. I'm not going to argue with that because you better get the best quarterback for this team. But me, in my opinion, I feel like this kid has shown through the first 8 games that he can play in this league. Now it's all about stringing up consistency. He can be consistent at the end of the year, show some good numbers, resiliency, and show what he's been doing. He definitely should have a great consideration to be the starting quarterback that you can build assets around.
1,000%. 1,000%. Okay, we go before we close out. We're gonna go ahead and break down. How did you feel about the Philly game? We lost to Philly
Yeah,
38-31 at FedEx Field. What was your initial thoughts after that game?
my initial thoughts was I knew they were going to come up and play their hearts out. But once again, the game literally repeated itself like the first time we played them. We were up by a couple of points. Eagles get the ball second half. They go downfield and they put points on the board, and it's literally a shootout then. And the Eagles defense, however, made a couple more plays than our defense did, and that's the main reason we lost. So it kind of fit in my description how the game was going to go. I kind of knew Sam was going to bounce back, but it just goes to show you if we had a defense that actually was supposed to show up this year to go with this offense that's growing up every week, the record would be completely different.
Lethal.
I know we go up here last year and the last couple of years, we talk about the games that we should have won, but it shows you how small the margin of error is when you can consistently think about them things that kept you from being either a great team
To
or the
mid.
same old mid team. And right now we're a mid team, but we have shown in certain games and aspects that we can be that team that we potentially can be. It's all about breaking that barrier of being inconsistent.
Yes, inconsistencies, fourth downs, the small things, change games, change momentum as well. That Philly game, like I've stated, we had to keep an eye. Goddard, we was able to hold Goddard. That's pretty good. But Del Rio again, putting Forbes in a position to fail. Why is like that whole quarter he wasn't even playing Forbes like that. He was even matching him up with Devontae Smith. But when they were in a red zone, you want to put him with no safety help, 1-on-1 against one of the best receivers in the NFL. So he can get embarrassed. Like that is terrible. Like I feel bad for Forbes. He will bounce back. Still his rookie year. Still has one pick. He's still this coaching is just letting that man down because you can see he got it, but it's like the positions he's been placed in has been placed to fail. He still has to make plays. He still has to get better, but coaching is 1,000% an issue with that. Like again, Chris Harris, I wish him and Chris Harris would have been able to work out together, that would have been great. That would have been great. Safeties being over covering on over top with him, shadowing him. Nope, they just want him to get destroyed by these receiver ones, and that's going to ruin him. And I don't want that kid ruined.
And what makes me sick is everybody's talking about when they put him in the game against AJ Brown, and AJ Brown had 2 catches for like what 30 some yards and a touchdown. But I'm just trying to figure out, what does benching Forbes do that much better when you got Danny Johnson blowing a wide open assignment on Devontae Smith and he's wide open for a touchdown. Like that's the
And that's
stuff
supposed to be a
that
bet.
bothers. That's the stuff that bothers me, man. Like our best DBs is Kendall Fuller and Cam Curl as of
1000%.
right now.
Juice is inconsistent. Like he can be great. He gets in his head. He will hold hold on to receivers. He will get flags. Like that's Juice's
I
problem.
think that's
And
scheme too. I think that's scheme too with
because
Fuller
he's better on the outside.
St. Juice. In my opinion, if not Fuller, why I keep saying Fuller? If St. Juice is in a if he's in a Seattle style defense, I think he can live up to his potential.
1000%. Because he got the size. He got the. It's the small mistakes.
Percy is
Um,
defense, nasty word.
hold on. And
Nasty word.
no, no. Nope.
Oh my
Nope.
god, that
Okay,
is
so
bad.
moving forward, another thing with the Philadelphia game, I'm not gonna get over this. Um, Across the NFL, like I don't know when Roger Goodell. I think every fan in the NFL needs to write this man a letter, type him an essay. Like something has to be done with officiating across the NFL, not just with us. Like it's getting to a point like that. Like it's gonna mess up people's playoff chances. Like everybody gets held accountable when they mess up their job, except for officials. Like they don't ever get held accountable. They say they switch up the crews for the playoffs, but in the playoffs they're terrible as well. So that doesn't change anything. Like they can
Yeah,
at least
it
get
was
a
definitely a
fine, a
one-sided
suspension,
thing.
especially for game changing flags. Something has to be done. Like or money's gonna be lost.
Yeah, it was definitely a one-sided game Sunday.
I'm talking about
And
across the NFL. Like it's been
yeah,
terrible.
but and here's this is why I don't like Ron. This is why I don't like Ron. So the play that I felt like completely changed the momentum of the game was the fourth down throw to Devontae Smith, where he legit did not catch it, and Ron didn't challenge it.
No challenge flag thrown. Like
No challenge flag is on, and his excuses are so horrible. He said, "I had to see it on the jumbotron." When you literally had your players jumping up and down saying he didn't catch it, you literally have a headset in your head for the people that's watching that stuff to tell you, to buzz you down, hey, you need a challenge. Where you're not calling offensive plays because you got EB, and you're not calling defensive plays because you got
least you can
Jared
do
Goff.
is throw a flag.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
And another thing, like that fourth down, another momentum changing aspect of that game. Why not run the ball on 4th and 1? Why not run the ball on 4th and 1?
Okay, so the fourth down thing, I I did have a problem with them throwing it. I do understand running it, but in my opinion, I had no problem with Sam Howell throwing to your number one. Now the only problem was he threw it inside. That was the problem. He threw it inside to Bradbury where he could make a play. And I understand. I also know that Curtis Samuel he was wide open in the middle field wherever he was going. But more of the story is I I understand it. Like I feel like the play calling right there to me was 50-50. So
That's how it's been all season, though.
it I agree that. Um, yeah, I'm really 50-50 on that. And it's like, I'm kind of tired of talking about running the football.
We saw splashes of Rodriguez, and then after that, they still didn't use him. Like they used Gibson a tad. I thought he may have been traded because they haven't used him at all. They may use him a little bit in a game, and then he disappears. They use B Rob, a driver, so we get a touchdown, and then he disappears. Like we need to run the ball.
He said he was enjoying the game. I guess so, man. Got his arms folded. Got his arms folded looking, man. Running the ball, yeah. Like, but see, I get tired of talking about it because it don't matter. We talk about it every podcast, every different podcast. It's still maybe 8 to 10 carries for B Rob and maybe 4 to someone else. I just get tired of talking about it. Like Robinson has not had more than what 12 carries since what the Buffalo game,
Yeah,
or what's it, the first Eagles game?
I think it
I,
was the first Eagles game. We didn't do no type of running for Buffalo for real. But and another thing I do want to say to close out this game against the Eagles, we did stop the tush push. We did stop the tush push. How do you feel about
this is
that?
nasty, bro. The Chase Shop rephrase, thank you. This is nasty work, bro. Yeah,
And shout out to Fetherian Mathis as well. Everybody counted that man out. He made a play on Sunday. Like I still think it's more to grow with him. Like he just got to stay healthy. He proved he can. He's done more than he's done in the past like year and a half. But um, I still got hope for him. I don't think he's a bust because he got injured 2 plays. That's just unfortunate. Like now he got to ball out, and right at the goal line when you need a play to be made, have making that getting that fumble. Those are the small things. First game back, stopping the tush push, getting the fumble. Those are the things I look at. How do you feel about his first game back? Even though it was limited snaps, but like getting that fumble.
I only see the fumble. I mean, he looked healthy. I mean, had some sheds in there. We'll see next
First
week what
game
he
back.
does.
First game back. Any last reactions?
Um, the Terry McLaurin slander is absolutely nasty. Absolutely nasty. Like my man's, yes, absolutely. Did Sam Howell underthrew a couple balls and threw off his back feet? Yes, most definitely. And he's also a young quarterback. I can't see that he also a professional quarterback, so he knows better. But at the end of the day, we have seen Terry McLaurin
Save
catch
us
balls
every year.
every year.
Like,
Terry has
nobody
to
is
catch
perfect.
those.
Nobody is perfect.
But for
Nobody is perfect.
people, but for people to go up here and talk about like, oh, Terry has never had those 140, 50, 60-yard games. Well, okay, I get that. That's cool. That's cool material for you to have in your notebook. How many games do we win without Terry McLaurin? I guarantee you wouldn't be able to name it. So we just need to stop. Terry McLaurin is one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Well, you know what his impact? You can get a whole stadium just to chant your name. Like that's impact. He does on and off the field stuff. Of course, everybody was pissed he missed those 2 catches, but he's done a lot. He saved us in multiple games. He's caught multiple passes. He's worked. He's grinded. Like as soon as somebody makes one little mistake, it's like this fan base like blows up. Like it's not that deep. Like nobody is perfect. He's not Superman. He's still our wide receiver one. He's still one of the top 15 wide receivers in the NFL. Like I would say top 10, but people say top 15, but like still top 15 receiver in the NFL. Like he dropped 2 critical passes. Okay, it was still other things went wrong in that game, not just those 2 drops at the end of that game. Like he's like, I don't get it. Like now, do they want to run Terry away? Who do they want to run away next? Sam? Who do they want to run away next? Jahan? Like nobody can make no mistakes.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. The Terry McLaurin slang nasty, but then they're all gonna love him if he gets like 7 catches for 100 yards or 2 touchdowns next week.
Yeah. You got people ready to trade Terry already. Like he just signed his deal last year. You really think?
Well, that's another conversation for another podcast, but we'll get there.
Yeah, so we do face the Patriots this Sunday in Foxborough. Hopefully, it's a bounce back game. New England has a solid defense, offense pretty much staggering, not doing too much. They do have key injuries on offense. Hopefully, they can exploit that, and hopefully, we can win. We just gotta. Bill Belichick is a good coach. He will try to get to Sam in any way possible on defense because that defense hasn't been great, but they still can sustain. Just got a game Sunday. Catch us on the pregame show this weekend as well to break down that game. Any last words, DT?
Nah, I'm good. I think I got my grievances off tonight, and you guys can follow me at D Cleveland Jr. That's my official Twitter page. You can also follow at Darius Ricks, host of the Ins and Out D podcast back here. We'll be going live tonight on hold on, let me pull it up right here. If you're familiar with the App Store, we will be going live on the PSF app. This is the app for all sports fans talking about football, sports, and anything. Only the Huddle podcast will be going live tonight. Catch me, Deuce, CeeLo, and Breeze as we talk about the trades as well and to recap the game for Sunday. So it's definitely going to be a lot to talk about tonight. And you guys can stay tuned.
Be blessed. Stay safe. Don't forget command time. Never Eagles time. Not the Giants time. Definitely not Cowboys time. Always command time. Time for me to go watch my Wizards beat the Hawks. Stay blessed, everyone. See y'all on
She up
Twitter
here,
next week.
she up here talking about the Wizards. That is absolutely nasty. You're wild.
Well, it's
This
time for
is
me to watch them play. They're playing right now.
a podcast, not a Wizards podcast.
That's why I was at the end.
Well, I'm gonna end it off with this.